Hi guys, it's Nicola Bird here from alittlepeaceofmind.co.uk. In today's video, I wanted to share with you a metaphor to help you get a better understanding of how anxiety really works. So this came up on a call with a discussion with a client this week and it seemed to really resonate, so I wanted to share it with you. To me, it just makes so much sense. So what most people don't know is they don't know that when their mind starts to race and the anxious thinking all starts to kick in, they don't understand that as our minds start to get faster and faster and faster, the quality of our thinking becomes more and more and more distorted. The content of our thinking becomes more and more and more unhelpful. Right? It becomes less true. It becomes full of danger and stressy, anxious. Like we just don't understand that it becomes more distorted. Right? And so what happens is as our anxiety climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs and climbs, and we believe everything we think, at its height, when we're having a panic attack, we're thinking, I'm going to die, I need to call an ambulance, I need to sort this out, this has an impact on my children, what's going to be the impact on them when they grow up? Oh my goodness, it's getting worse, now I can feel it, my toes going numb, now I'm feeling really depersonalized, oh my goodness. And every single one of those thoughts looks real and true. And what happens without understanding is that we go from a calm place to a busy place, to a calm place, to a busy place. And we believe every single thought that we think, regardless of where we are on that continuum. Right, this is the metaphor I wanted to share with you. You know, like when you're drunk, right? So you know, like you have, I don't know, let's use the example of gin, right? So you have a gin, you have a couple of gins, and then from that space, it looks like it would be a good idea to drink more gin, right? Only when we've had 2 gins, we think it's a good idea to, well, maybe just one more, right? So we have one more and then the next one looks more appealing. We have one more and the next one looks more appealing. I'm not actually a big gin drinker, so I don't know how many you'd have to drink to be totally drunk. But we all know the experience, most of us know the experience of being drunk. And in that space, right, when we're totally drunk, we're like, oh, it's okay, I can drive home. No problem, give me the car keys, I'll drive. I'm sober as a judge, I'll drive home, right? And our competency as a driver looks unquestioned, right? The quality of our thinking, we honestly think we can drive, right? And the other thing we do, maybe in our 20s, right? Oh, that guy looks really sexy, I think I'll snog him, right? That's a really good idea, I'll do that, right? And off we go and, I don't know, snog the guy or whatever. I don't do that anymore. But we think our thinking is to be, like when we're drunk, we believe things that when we're sober just don't look like a good idea to us at all. Like we see that they're nuts when we sober up. We're like, what was I thinking? And being anxious is like being really drunk. It's a distorted state of mind. It's like an altered state of consciousness. But if we don't know that, we take everything we think to be true and real. Now, in my 20s, I kind of hadn't really twigged onto this. So I'd get drunk, I'd think what I thought was true, I'd act out of that space, and the next day I'd have consequences to deal with, right? But as I've grown older, for me, when I get drunk, there's something in me that knows I'm drunk, right? So that I might say, oh, it's fine, I can drive home, but I don't really believe it. Like there's something in me that knows that I'm not to be trusted when I'm drunk, to the extent that I have never tried to complete my tax return when I'm absolutely plastered, right? Like it knows that that's not a good idea. Like don't take anything, it doesn't even bring those thoughts to mind, right? That I'm not to be trusted in that state. Okay, there's a part of me that knows. And that's what's happened with my understanding around anxiety, is that no matter, even when I get anxious thoughts, like I know that the feeling tells me, like there's a feeling to being drunk, right? Like you can feel it as you start to get tipsy, you start to get drunker. And the thing is, when you're drunk, The only thing you need to do to come back to a sane state of mind, to come back to sobriety, is to stop drinking the gin. The moment you stop, nothing else to do, right? The moment you stop drinking the gin, you start sobering up. The system takes over and you start sobering up. Are you still drunk? Might you make bad decisions? Might your thinking all look really real to you that's nonsense for a little while as you start to sober up? Yes, but you're on the way back home. Now, the same thing with anxiety, right? If we're lost in our thinking, having a panic attack, but we know we're lost and we know that our thinking isn't to be trusted in that moment, that those thoughts that say, you have to get out of here, you have to ring the doctor, this time it's real, he really is an asshole, you really need to sort something out about your kids, you need to calm down your breathing, you're really going to die. If, even though we kind of fall for that thinking, there's a little part of us that knows that it's like we're drunk, we can just ignore ourselves for a bit, which is the equivalent of stopping drinking the gin. If we stop responding to those panicky thoughts, if we know that they're just panicky thoughts and they're allowed to occur without action, without us adding in more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts. See, we think, oh, I'll just have one more gin. I'll just do a bit more thinking about this anxiety. That'll help sober me up. You see how much misunderstanding there is? Now, when we stop drinking the gin, when we stop adding in more thought and reaction, we start to come back home. We start to come back to ourselves. Nothing to do. We just stop adding in more and the system resets and defaults back to our innate well-being, back to our innate sobriety, right? Back to the state of sobriety that we had the day we were born, right? Back to the state of innate mental health that we were in the moment we were born. It's the same. Being drunk, being in an heightened state of anxiety, if we could see something about not trusting what it is that we think, that we don't have to believe everything we think when we're in an altered state of consciousness, to me that makes so much sense. And I hope to you too. I hope this video is helpful. I hope just even listening to this video has helped you sober up a little bit. And I'll be back with you with another video next week. Take care.